All right, today we're going to run a little thought experiment, a simulation, if you will. We're going to imagine what would happen if a visitor from way, way outside our solar system, a true interstellar traveler, was on a direct collision course with us, right here on Earth. So let's just jump right in. I mean, we talk about asteroids from our own cosmic neighborhood all the time. But what if something from an entirely different star system was headed our way? What would that even look like? What would it mean? Well, to put it bluntly, it would be the end of our world as we know it. A collision like that would unleash an almost unimaginable amount of energy. It would kick off a chain of events that would literally rewrite the history of life on this planet. So how do we even begin to figure that out? Well, let's meet the real cosmic visitors that inspired this whole scenario. You know, for decades, scientists just theorized that objects from other star systems might be zipping through our own. But it was only very recently that we actually confirmed our first one. That first visitor was named Oumuamua. And that name, it's Hawaiian, and it's just perfect. It means a messenger from afar arriving first. It was the first solid proof that our solar system isn't some closed-off bubble. We get travelers passing through, messengers from other stars. And Oumuamua was weird. I mean, really weird. It was moving way too fast to be from around here, clocking in at an incredible 87 kilometers per second as it left our system. Its shape was bizarre, like a cigar, 10 times longer than it was wide, and it was tumbling end over end. But the most puzzling thing? It actually accelerated away from the sun, getting a push that gravity alone just couldn't explain. Of course, this sparked all sorts of wild theories about it being an alien probe, though most scientists now think the push came from hydrogen gas venting off it, kind of like a stealthy comet. Now, as strange as Oumuamua was, it's actually our third confirmed visitor that's the star of our destructive simulation today, a massive, ancient comet named 3I/Atlas. See, while Oumuamua was pretty small, 3I/Atlas is a true giant, potentially 14 times bigger. And that difference in scale, well, it changes everything. So, to really get a grip on the kind of threat this comet could be, we have to compare it to the most famous impact in Earth's history. You know the one I'm talking about, the one that ended the age of the dinosaurs. Now, you might look at this and think, wait, the bigger object is the bigger threat, right? But that's not the whole story here. At about 5.6 kilometers wide, 3I/Atlas is actually smaller than the 10-kilometer wide asteroid that hit Chicxulub. But here's the critical difference: speed. The dinosaur killer was moving at about 20 kilometers per second. 3I/Atlas is screaming through space at a staggering 61 kilometers per second. That's more than 3 times faster. And this is the number that changes everything. Because when it comes to cosmic impacts, velocity is king. Even though it's smaller, that incredible, blistering speed means 3I/Atlas would slam into Earth with 4.5 times the energy of the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. And that energy difference is what truly matters. We're not just talking about another dinosaur-level event. An impact with this much raw energy, it's in a completely different league. It's a planet killer.
Okay, so let's walk through this nightmare scenario. What would actually happen in the first seconds, minutes, and hours of an event like this?
Honestly, it would be over before you even knew it started. The comet would punch through our entire atmosphere and slam into the Earth's crust in just over a single second. The impact site would vaporize into a core of superheated plasma, instantly cremating everything. A shockwave would radiate out for thousands of kilometers, and trillions of tons of molten rock blasted into the sky would rain back down, igniting a firestorm across the entire continent. The blast would create winds you can't even fathom. We're talking about super hurricane force winds of 1,000 kilometers per hour. Winds that would level cities and strip forests bare in a heartbeat. And the tsunamis? They'd be biblical. Waves hundreds of meters high would scour coastlines, pushing up to 100 kilometers inland, just wiping everything clean off the map. Basically, the side of the planet that got hit would be toast. Simple as that. But here's the truly terrifying part. The initial blast, as horrific as it is, isn't the real planet killer. No, the true extinction-level threat. That comes from what happens next. The sheer volume of dirt and debris thrown into the atmosphere would block out the sun, plunging the entire planet into a nuclear winter for years, maybe even decades. With no sunlight, photosynthesis stops. Plants die globally, and when the plants go, the entire food chain collapses from the bottom up. Anything that somehow survived would be finished off by extreme acid rain, and with the ozone layer completely destroyed, the surface would be baked in deadly radiation. And after that deep, deep freeze, the planet's climate would swing violently to the other extreme. As the skies finally, decades later, began to clear, all the carbon dioxide that was vaporized from the comet itself would trap heat, creating a runaway greenhouse effect. The planet would go from a frozen wasteland to a scorching hothouse for centuries to come. So, after walking you through that absolute apocalypse, it is definitely time to pull back to reality. Because the real story of Comet 3I/8LIS isn't about destruction, it's about discovery.
The good news, the really good news, is that none of this is going to happen. Our little simulation is just that, a simulation. 3I/8LIS is not going to hit us, it's not even going to come close.
At its closest point, this comet will still be 270 million kilometers away. Now, on an astronomical scale, that's kind of close. It'll pass within the orbit of Mars, but for us, here on Earth, it poses absolutely zero danger. So instead of being a harbinger of doom, 3I/8LIS is an incredible scientific prize. It probably came from a region of ancient primeval stars, which means it could easily be billions of years older than our own sun. It has a chemical makeup unlike anything we've ever seen, with strangely high levels of things like nickel and iron. It's not a monster, it's a messenger. It's a time capsule from before our world even existed.
And that, right there, is the real story. It isn't about fear, it's about wonder. Studying this object is a chance to look back into the deep, deep past. It's giving us a priceless glimpse into what the universe was like long before our solar system, our sun, and our Earth were even born.